Welcome to Aiken Business Matters. This is John McMichael, your host, and I am pleased today. I've got two great guests, and you're really going to enjoy these guests we have today. I've got with me Wayne Powers, also known as Bo Mitchell, and his manager, mom, and director, Robin Mitchell. And we're so happy to have y'all with us today.
Thank you.
And we're very fortunate to have him because he is always on the go, never in town a lot at one stretch. So, Bo, thank y'all both for being here. Robin, you for being here as well.
Yeah, thanks.
Bo, you know, I think everybody would enjoy hearing a little bit about your career and your life. You certainly had, for a young man, you have certainly had a very interesting life. Tell us a little bit about your, if for people that don't know, you played a key role on the Eastbound and Down on HBO. And you did have the part of Wayne Powers for what, 3 or 4 seasons there?
Yeah, 4 seasons.
4 seasons, 6 years filming.
Wow, that's a lot. So tell us a little bit about how all that got started in your career.
Yeah, well, my career in acting has been going on since I was 9 months old. I got found in a mall, just walking around, strolling on vacation. An agent came up to my family and me, and was, I guess, excited about how I looked, for a baby.
Right.
and so she
must have been the dimples.
Right. The dimples. They exchanged contacts and started from there. I started doing like print work, photos and magazines, and then worked up to commercials and then TV shows and then movies, and now it's just full-blown acting work. So yeah, I've been doing it for almost 21 years.
Oh, wow. How does that impacted with school, things like that? That had to put an extra burden on.
Yeah.
He never actually
Robin.
went to a school. From the beginning, he was always in a homeschool program.
Right.
And then any TV show he was on long term, the TV show had a teacher there and they schooled him. So HBO probably schooled him longer than anybody. Almost 6 years they schooled him, and they actually finished him when he was about 16 years old.
Wow.
Yep.
How was that going to school on a TV set or movie set?
It's interesting. When you have to be in school technically for work, it's kind of like you have to get so much done.
Right.
So the teacher is like there working as like a social worker almost, and they will pull you right out the middle of a scene and make you go do schoolwork. So sometimes it gets kind of bummed out, but I mean, it's still, that's what you got to do. And so it's great though, because they're very efficient. On a day while I'm working, I'm also doing school, and I would get a day's worth of work done and 3 or 4 actual full school days done. That's how I finished at 16. I would do a lot of extra work, do multiple full days in one afternoon, and get things done a lot quicker. So, made me able to finish earlier and stuff like that. So, because as soon as you actually get, finish with school and graduate and you're done, you can actually work full days, and then, you do more, get paid more, be more out there and stuff, and work up to traveling on your own without having to have the teacher there, because it limits you a lot on set. But still great people. All the teachers I've ever worked with are awesome. They're fun. They're great at just, making it a fun time learning. So it was cool. It was very cool, man. Definitely different than sitting in a classroom most of the time.
Where did you film mostly, especially with Eastbound?
Eastbound, and then a lot of the stuff I filmed has actually been throughout the South in my younger years.
Right.
Now more recently it's been in California. Right. But there's a huge film industry in the South. Atlanta, coming up now, Charleston, Wilmington, North Carolina, those are all big film industries in the South. So spent a lot of time there. Almost all of Eastbound and Down, 6 years, 4 seasons was filmed there, or some in Myrtle Beach, and then a little bit in Puerto Rico. But yeah, I mean, it was spent mostly in the South for the younger years.
I know Atlanta's gotten to be a real popular area too. A lot of things go. When I lived in Atlanta, it really started progressing into the film industry, and you see more and more of it coming into the South. And I was talking to somebody the other day about this one thing, and the question is, why wouldn't they want to film down here? We got some beautiful locations, don't we?
Yeah, true. The beautiful sceneries that we have, but the tax breaks are the biggest thing. North Carolina ran a great tax break for a good many years, and then they've actually pulled some of that out, which so it made North Carolina lose a lot of their filming industry. So that's why a lot of it's filming now in Georgia, Atlanta,
Right.
and now Augusta, Georgia. You know, is trying to do a film office to try to pull some of it into this area as well.
Yeah,
So.
yeah, right. I know a number of people in the arts community here are trying to, or have expressed a desire to see us do some things in South Carolina like they've done in Georgia to try to
Correct.
pull people across the Savannah River so we can get
Right.
some things. I know we've had some films done here locally.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's
over
been
the
a lot of
few.
smaller independent
Yeah.
films here. You know, Bo has a deal with MTV, and that TV show has done some filming here.
Right.
The whole show is based out of here, called
Right.
Hick Life. MTV still owns that, but we filmed a lot here last year
Yeah.
when we started cranking that deal up. So,
Right.
you know, and they love the area. So,
Yeah, it's great down here, man. I mean, South Carolina is starting to work into that as a whole. There's some filming going on in Myrtle Beach. There's a lot in Charleston. So I mean, yeah, it's trying to crank up down here. Basically, people are hungry for the southern scenery, and they can't get it in North Carolina that much anymore. So they're
Right.
moving to South Carolina and Georgia. So it'll be interesting to see it evolve in the next couple of years.
And I bet you're a great ambassador for our area too.
Right, thank you. Yeah, trying to be.
Yeah.
Yes,
So
sir.
all they got to do is get you talking about your hometown, I bet, and,
Yeah.
and you're ready to do it.
Oh yeah, I'm all about it down here, man. It's fun. We bring up because of the skate park and the
Right.
nonprofit and the business I run here. We bring a lot of out of towners in. So anytime I get people in, whether they're just friends of mine skating or actors, filmographers, or they're professional skateboarders or some type of talent, I just like suck them in, trying to bring them downtown, try to bring them around Aiken, go see stuff, go eat in places, have fun. So yeah.
we always go to the Wilcox.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I just got asked you one question. Do you always smile? Because I've never seen you when you weren't smiling.
Try to always be happy,
That's
man.
a good
it.
thing.
That's the
a
key.
good- Well, when you're doing things you enjoy doing, it makes it easier
Definitely.
too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're right.
Now, how in the world did you get involved in skateboarding?
Skateboarding started as like a hobby for fun, as a kid. I did some team sports and stuff, but traveling, acting, there's not a lot of team sports going on because there's not, 20 kids running around to do a team sport. So I picked up skating on and off just because I gotten a few boards and saw it in video games, saw it on TV, and it was something I could do by myself. So I picked it up and just did it kind of while I was traveling and had fun with it. And then I got really serious about it about 13 or so. I came back to Aiken for a little while because I just finished shooting a few shows and things, and some of my friends were doing it heavily, and I was like, I'll do it too with y'all now. I got friends I can do it with, so got very into it at about 13 or so, and I've been all about it ever since, man. It's one of my favorite things to do. It's a great just tool all around to go socialize, have fun, relax, exercise, and all that kind of stuff. So
Well, anybody that doesn't think it's a sport needs to try it once.
yeah,
Exactly.
And that's how many times I tried it, once.
sometime there you go. That's all it takes, man.
But
Yeah.
I remember my son, I can't remember if he owned the boards or one of the neighbors did, but they were always on it. So nobody was at home one day, so I decided I was going to try it.
Yeah, there you go.
Then I realized that you have to be very skilled and,
Yeah,
and
skilled,
adapt to doing
balanced,
it. If
yeah.
you don't, you're going to end up
on
with
your
a big
butt or
problem.
something. Yeah, big.
It's going right out from under you.
It
Yeah.
will. So it takes a lot of skill. It
Yeah.
really does. I mean,
Yeah.
it's not just something you fool around with. I mean, some people are fair at it, but they're certainly not gifted enough to be able to do tricks and things that go on out at your skate park.
Yes, sir.
Right.
Yeah, no, it definitely takes a lot of practice, a lot of skill, some natural talent, and it takes a lot of just a lot of commitment to it, man. You got to do it every day, and it's like a you got to sharpen it. You can't just do it once and then come back a month later and still be able to do the trick. So it's just like anything else. You got to work at it. So
Well, you got one advantage over me if I'm playing golf.
right
I have to buy a lot of golf balls.
there you go.
Yeah.
You only have to have one
There you
skateboard.
go.
I know you
There
got more
There
than
you
one.
go.
Yeah.
Right, you're right. Yeah, you definitely do. It's a trade-off, But yeah, I love it. It's cool. That's
Now,
great.
one thing I really want to focus in for a while, because I think our viewers would really be interested in hearing about this, is that
Okay.
you started a skateboard park.
Yes,
and
sir.
you call it HIC Warehouse Skatepark. Tell me about that. How did that come about? How did you pick the name?
Yeah, so HIC Warehouse, HIC, it's an acronym.
Right.
And that came from just playing like little league sports
Right.
here in Aiken. I would miss a lot of practice for auditions and filming, and so some coaches started calling me Hollywood, and I thought it was funny and stuff.
Yeah.
So I've had a lot of entrepreneurial experiences throughout my life, and endeavored in a lot of businesses and stuff. So I created an incorporation to, umbrella all of that stuff. And I used the nickname Hollywood's Inc. Hollywood's and incorporated just as a
That's a cool
just
name.
as a fun name, yeah, to keep for a good umbrella. And we acronymed it into HIC for Southern folks. We're from the South, and
Right.
so that became the beginning of Hick and the skate shop and the skate park. Like I said, I came back when I was 13, and my friends were doing it. And after a year or so, I realized that there was a need for it here. We didn't really have a pro shop at all, so you either had to travel like an hour or order offline, and then there wasn't a whole lot of places to do it either. So I was like, there's a need for it, might as well try and start up a shop. And so we did. We started a pro shop and been working since then, and now we're down on Edgefield Highway. We got a 18,000 square foot indoor facility, a pro shop in there, so it's doing good, man.
Down 1120 Edgefield Highway, I think,
1120.
Yes,
right?
sir,
Highway,
1120
I can't
Edgefield
believe I
Highway.
remember that.
There
That's
you go.
good.
Hey, it rings a bell.
It's
good.
easy to remember.
It is.
It is.
Well, you had a couple of weeks ago, you had a big contingent of people here in town.
Yes, sir.
Tell me about that.
Yeah, so we had a lot of people in town traveling in from all over for these skateboarding contest series that travel all over the world. And when they travel, they only stop 3 or 4 places in each country. So we
Okay.
were one of their, we were the only stop in all the Southeast for these contests. So people from Louisiana, if you think about kind of like a reversed L, all the way up to New York, and anywhere in between, we're all coming here because, like I said, the other 2 closest stops were Texas and New York, and we're down here in Aiken. So we were really the only stop in the Southeast. So we had people here from Florida, Tennessee, Alabama, both the Carolinas, Georgia, Virginia, all over, even more all over the place, and just coming in for this contest. These contests are huge. Like I said, they're worldwide, so they travel. And when they travel, they take each of the winners from the stop, and it gives those winners a chance to become, a full sponsored skateboarder.
Wow.
Boost them, kickstart them into a professional career with it, and all sorts of stuff. So it's a pretty big deal to get that opportunity as a skater, especially from the South and from this area. There's not a lot of exposure for it. It's like acting kind of. You wouldn't expect it, in a small town that you could just become a full-blown actor. You
Right.
think, oh, I got to go to California, I got to
Yep.
go to New York. That's how it is for skating. You got to go somewhere where the exposure is. So for some skaters down here with no exposure, really, it's a chance of a lifetime. So yeah, we had over 500 people for about 2 weeks for 2 different events that came in back to back. And when they came in, and people running the event were all from California and LA and different parks of Southern California. So they all came in, ran the event, filmed some montages of it. The event went off great, and like I said, we had hundreds of people coming into town, staying, eating, hanging out, and skating. It was great.
Wow.
And pros were here as well.
Yeah, we brought in some pros.
travel.
Yeah, we brought in some pros, and that was great. We brought in the professional skateboarders from Team DGK, and that was awesome to have them here. They're all super talented, so they came and hung out and went around downtown. I saw they made a video at Pizza Joint, hanging out.
Did they?
skating.
Oh, good.
Down here.
Yeah, so that was cool, and yeah, they had fun. And every time people come down and experience the city and the park and stuff, they all love it and say they want to come back. So that's great to hear.
Well, I was going to ask you that. I appreciate your bringing that up. So they were pleasantly surprised when they heard that they were coming to the little small town of Aiken,
Right.
Yeah.
and what they found. And I know you have quite a facility out there. Tell us a little bit about the physical facility that you have.
Yeah, so the facility itself is an 18,000 square foot building almost all of that is park. We have some small office spaces up front where we run, you know, simple stuff like foyer and office room and all that, and the snack bar, and we have the pro shop in there. So, you know, you come in, you see those little areas where the businesses ran out of, and then you go back into the skateboard park, and it's this huge old warehouse. I believe it used to be a cabinet factory or something back.
Metal
It was
cabinet.
Metal cabinet factory, and that was 50 years ago almost now. So it's a pretty old building. So you just see this cool old warehouse from the 50s, you know.
Which is kind of a neat retro
Yeah.
look,
Yeah,
huh?
yeah, it is. It's retro now, and so we have all the ramps that me and my dad built are all in there. We've built all the ramps in the whole place.
So you and your, I'm gonna stop just a second.
Yeah.
You and your dad built these ramps, huh?
Every
yes,
bit
sir.
of it.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, we built it all.
Your dad must be very talented.
He
Yeah.
is. He is.
Yep.
He's like a. I don't know.
Renaissance
like a
man.
Renaissance man. There you
So
go.
your mom's the idea lady and he's the builder, huh?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. And
I
he's
think all
great.
the ideas come from him.
Yeah.
I just oversee
Yeah.
all of that.
Yeah, she helps make it happen. So
There you go.
I'll run all.
You're the
run around.
facilitator. He's the.
There you go.
You're the
Yes.
idea
Yes.
facilitator, and he's the one that creates it, that
Yeah,
makes it
there
happen.
You go.
Yep.
Yeah, it's a team, man.
How about that?
Team effort.
You're very fortunate to have your mom and dad so
Oh,
much
I know,
involved in
thank
what you do.
Yeah, definitely. I wouldn't be where I am without them believing in me, man. Like, imagine being a parent in a mall and having some crazy lady tell you that they want you to fly out to New York with your 9-month-old baby for 2 weeks. You know, I think that any parent, you have to step back and be like, this is either true or it's a scam. You know, and so to just believe and dive into that, and they've just been doing that ever since then with any idea I had. Like I told you, I had entrepreneurial efforts before I started a snow cone franchise out here in Aiken and ran a couple businesses with that. And I just told them these ideas and they would help make it happen, and we'd work together, and it's been like that ever since, and it's still happening now. It's great.
Yeah, I think the only entrepreneurial thing I ever did was try to sell lemonade one time.
There you go.
So,
There you go.
my hats off to you for that.
Thank you.
Well, you got to have a special gift and a special spirit to be able to do that. You know, everybody's given a gift in this world, and
Yeah.
and you certainly are taking advantage of that,
Thank you.
and very fortunate to have somebody recognize you at a young age.
Yeah, definitely. Thank
And
you.
don't want to leave the skateboard park yet. Let's talk about
Yeah.
that a little bit more. Now, you and your dad put this together,
Yeah.
and to have the attraction of having these world-class pros and these hopeful amateurs that are coming in that
Yeah.
want to be pros,
Yeah.
to create an environment that they feel like they can be successful in and can show their
Definitely.
skills,
Yeah.
has to be an achievement, something I know y'all are proud of.
Yeah.
How did you design all this stuff? And was it just an inspiration you got from different places that you've been, or you just sit there and think, no, I think that would look really neat. I'm going to do that.
Yeah, it's a melting pot kind of. I'm very proud to actually have created a facility that people enjoy skating.
Right.
Because you could put a bunch of stuff together and it just not work, or
Yeah.
people don't like it. So it turned out great. Like I said, I've been skating for a long time, and with acting, I was always skating in different places.
Right.
So I've just been able to see a lot of cool stuff. A lot of nice ramps, a lot of intriguing designs, and so I just would take all that in, and always think, wow, it'd be cool to be able to skate this, at home and not have to be 1,000 miles away. So, over time, doing that, thinking and, remembering things, I came back here and kind of just put it all into the park. Stuff I've liked over the years, stuff is fun, stuff that I knew they needed to learn on,
Right.
Things, you have to have stepping stones, you can't go jump on the biggest thing right away. So yeah, things I knew that you need to step up with, and then other things that are just fun and interesting, wacky ideas, and just all over the board. I tried to put it all together from over time, experiencing different parks and facilities growing up. Designing it, I basically just used like a computer designer that designed skate parks. So you just it's really simple. We'll kind of just put some ramps here and there with the skate park designer, and it helped us get a real idea of what it's going to look like. And
Did they do it in 3D?
yeah, and then
That makes it neat. So
yeah.
you get a really great idea.
Yeah, definitely, and it's nice. It makes it super easy to comprehend what and when and where things are going.
Yeah.
So between me and my dad, I knew the shapes and the heights, and he knew what to put in there to make that happen. So he's been teaching me now for the past 5 years, and I've gotten to where I can almost do it all myself. So,
Wow.
yeah, it's pretty exciting. I love building it, man, because it's all kind of like a pleasure factor. You know, you skateboard, you get pleasure from it. You build the ramp, you get pleasure from it, and they get to collaborate because you get to build something and then utilize it. You know, it's pretty cool.
You know, Robin, I was just thinking as he was going through all this, and it's what he's doing and what you're doing, Bo, is not so far afield from the acting, because all that has to do with the base ability for creativity.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's something
There's an
that
art
comes
to it,
out of
yeah.
there's an art. So all the things that you're interested in doing all come from a base of creativity. So
Right.
it's that's pretty cool. I think that's
you. Yeah.
that's an interesting way to look at what you're doing, and
Definitely.
kind of give people a little bit of an insight as to how you did all this.
Right.
Now, you talked about your friends and wanting to do it. Now that you're older,
Yeah.
not much older, but now that you're
Yeah,
older,
yes, sir.
He's 21 now.
21,
Yep.
and you're starting to see another generation come up behind you with an interest in. Tell me a little bit about how you are engaging the younger folks and bringing them up to get involved in skateboarding.
Yeah, well, we're engaging them in almost every way we can and can think of, and have the means to. We're running the skate park as a nonprofit facility.
Okay.
It's also known as Home for Skateboarding. And with that, we're just trying to get in touch with all the youth here in Aiken, and, you know, even in a broader spectrum, you know, just getting them in there and giving them the chance to be able to have skateboarding as a hobby, you know, and get away from whatever's going on, and, you know, get that exercise. A lot of kids don't click with other, you know, sports, or maybe, you know, they don't do so good in school or this or that, but they get to come skate, have fun and relax and find something they can enjoy and can do. And it's like skating, you know, it's everyone can do it a little bit, you know, and so you find that enjoyment in it. So we're trying to get in touch with all the kids right now and get things going to be, you know, a full-blown youth center. We are, as of right now, the biggest youth center in Aiken as far as space to, you know, do things
Accommodate
with.
them.
Yeah, accommodate.
Yeah.
So right now we're just trying to get, you know, complete these actions. We would love to be able to, you know, bring kids in from school, have tutors set up for them, help them with schoolwork, and then they get to go have physical exercise and skate. We set up these contests to give the locals a chance to do something, you know, and just so many different levels of. That's just like a tip of the iceberg. But
if I've got a child that wants to do skate, how do they learn? I mean, I know you just don't step on it one day, and are there opportunities there for some of the older ones to teach
It's a
the younger
training
ones?
facility.
There's
Yeah.
training facility,
Yeah.
yeah.
So
Do you do
the-
any of the training yourself?
yeah, I do,
Okay.
yeah.
When you're there?
When he's there,
Definitely.
Yeah.
when the younger ones come in, the other kids that's there, their age, just kind of, it's like a sponge. They just soak them all
Right.
in. It doesn't matter if they're different, if they look
Yeah.
weird, if the skin color, it doesn't matter anything like that. They just suck each other in. They'll start teaching each other. It's amazing to watch because you can see it happen. You can see the new kids come in, and you can see them trying something. It doesn't take long before you see one or two little boys go over and immediately start showing them something.
Right.
And the next thing you know, it's a big group of everybody. And whether if they're holding their hand to teach them how to go down a ramp and hang on to them first, you know, so that they don't fall or whatever. Yeah, and they're out there at such a young age. I mean, there's 5 and 6 year olds dropped off there, and they're training, you know, 3 or 4 days a week.
Wow.
Yeah.
Is there any anything that you can think of that would be a reason somebody wouldn't want to skate, learn how to skate young?
Young, I really don't know.
How
I mean,
young?
I mean, we've had 2 and 3 year olds in there before,
Really?
kicking around.
Wow.
So yeah, we've had a couple really talented ones. You know, I mean, it's just why not to? Is there's really not much reason I can't think of. You know, you can pad them up. You know,
Yeah.
Yeah.
you can cover them in bubble wrap and they'll be fine. And you know, we take care of them there. We have a lot of, like she said, people. It's almost you know, like you said, with the kids helping other kids.
Right.
It's almost primal. It's like these little kids come in and they look at the bigger kids,
Right.
and the bigger kids, they see them, they know that they're doing good stuff, and they're like, okay, I can follow him around and do that. So they'll start following around and trying stuff, and then the kids will be like, oh, let me help you with that. And then that continues up. Those little kids are looking at the 10-year-olds, are looking at the 15-year-olds, and the 15-year-olds are looking at me, and my friends are all in their 20s, and it keeps going up. Me and my friends look at these 30 and 40 and 50-year-old guys that,
Still
you know, that we were in the 6-year-olds' place at once, and they were in the 12-year-olds' place. You know, it's a never-ending cycle, and it's prime when you're always following the people ahead of you, and you get in there, and you have a 50-year-old man skating and a 6-year-old boy skating right beside each other, working together, trying tricks, having fun. It's pretty cool, man. I like that's one of the biggest aspects, and why not to get into it? I mean, it's a huge social thing too. I can go anywhere with a skateboard, and like you said, it doesn't matter if we're different races or speak a different language. That's, you know, that one language kind of thing. It ties everyone together, and it's very good a social tool. And you know, from a more scientific standpoint, you finish developing your balance by about 8. So the more crazy stuff you can do before 8 to develop balance, the better you'll be at balancing. You know, and you'll be able to be more acrobatic, or you know, have more agility in a sense. So you get a kid on a skateboard at 5 or 6, 7, and give them, you know, that time on a skateboard balancing. Then just think about how much that could kickstart your ability to balance as a young child.
Right. Well, you really did a great job of explaining this up, because I wanted some of the people that really didn't, you know, they look at skateboarding and say, well, that's too dangerous, or I don't think I'd want my grandchild doing that. But you've given a great thing. The earlier you start, the better.
Right.
And it's just like developing any other skill. Your muscles learn.
Definitely.
You teach your muscles what to do. That's why runners run like they do. That's why athletes train like they do.
Many don't know that skateboarding is, number one, a year-round sport.
Right.
Number two, skateboarding is the pro world. They need the kids while they're young. You can become a pro skater at 12, 14, 16 years old.
Really?
You can make 6 figures at 16 years old as a skater.
Yeah.
So you don't have to go to high school and play the sport, then college, and then get drafted into the pros.
Right.
By the time those pros are getting drafted, these skateboarders are wore out. So they're looking at owning their own business through skateboarding, or getting into it in, you know, more business level. So they come into our park from all these big companies in California. They come in several times a year. They look at these kids, watch them. They scout them out. We send them video footage throughout the year of these kids. We have kids out there that are already sponsored by big companies, shoes, boards, clothes. You know, everything. Every month.
Here in Aiken.
Yes, right here in Aiken. We've got kids right here in Aiken that are being looked at right now that I would say in the next 2 to 5 years will be making 6 figures a year before they're 18 years old and be on a pro level.
Wow.
Yeah.
Right here in Aiken.
You were asking me if I trained them earlier. That's kind of what I was going to get into. Is I do train. I help all the kids out, but there's a special group that, you know, I've seen that have talent, because I've traveled skating and seen what it takes, you know. So I see them, and I try to give them a little extra help and open up some doors for them with, you know, my connections I have through the industries. So yeah, basically there's a group of kids I have right now that range from about, like you said, 6 or 7 up to about 18 that are all extremely talented, and focusing on a couple 14, 16-year-olds right now that are, I film and stuff too. I do a little bit of filmmaking for skating, so I will film them and then, you know, get them doing some tricks and moves, send it out to sponsors and connections in the industry, and it just opens up doors for them and gives them a chance. Like you said, I've gotten, you know, with them being extremely talented and me connecting them to the industry, we've gotten a couple kids right now that are, you know, full ride in a sense, you know, for some people that understand that term, you know, full ride. They have the shoes, they have the clothing, they have the skateboards, and they're basically completely taken care of. And it's, you know, that now skateboarding is a free sport for them to participate in. The companies take care of them and they push them, and, you know, in a couple years, if they continue progressing, that company will just give them a contract, start giving them a salary, and they'll start traveling the world as a skateboarder.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, Bo, you've done a great job of explaining so much about this world of skateboarding.
Yeah.
and it costs money to operate your business, and you're working as a nonprofit. How can the community help you folks?
Yeah, definitely. Well, I mean, you can take some of that.
Yeah, the website is homeforskateboarding.org. It shows, you know, all the things that we do. We have skate church on Thursday nights. We do an autism program every year with a huge company that Vans sponsors called A-Skate. We do Skatesgiving every year, where we give, you know, 150 kids free Thanksgiving, you know, dinner. We feed them, and just so many other programs. We do some free after-school tutoring right now with the skaters. They're in the park every day. So there's so many programs that we do there in the park, and everything pretty much right now is funded, you know, by Bo himself. So we've created the nonprofit to try to help the local community start sponsoring these programs, so that they can grow and get bigger, so that we can actually hire some people to come in, you know, and help us with those programs. Right now it's his dad and I running pretty much everything.
So it's really all in the family.
It is, yeah.
To put an entertainment spin on it.
Yeah, definitely, it's all in the family.
He's here some, and then we have a few employees, you know, that help us out. But it would just be nice to see the community, you know, make some donations. We're always having events that cost money. So, you know, donating to those events, donating to where we can do more after school. We would love to eventually purchase a small bus to try and go pick kids up after school. So that's in the works as well. We'd love to have a bus donated, or have funds to buy that, you know, without it coming out of someone's pocket all the time. So there's so many programs that you could, you know, and just care of the building, which is so expensive, the electricity bill. We have 32 cameras inside and out, so all the kids are monitored, you know, and that's another thing I wanted.
It's a safe environment.
It is a very
Definitely
safe environment. People don't realize they have the wrong take on skate parks. But this skate park in Aiken, South Carolina is way different.
Okay.
It is run for the kids in the community to have a safe haven.
Right. Yeah. Well, we'll have your website address up on the screen as we leave the station. But I just want to tell you both, thank you very much for coming.
Yeah,
You've
thanks for having
certainly
us.
given all of us a greater insight into what sounds like a real jewel for the city of Aiken, not only for the community itself, but for the opportunity to bring guests and professionals into our community to take a taste of Aiken, as we like to say, and get a the southern flavor that goes along with it. But I know you're leaving for Hollywood very shortly to work on a new project that they just called you about very recently. So I guess that's the life of an actor. You get the call, you go. And we appreciate it. But
thank you.
Both, thank you so very much.
Of course, thanks for having me.
We'll do this again sometime.
Yeah, well,
and keep up with you and find out what's going on. But thank you so very much.
Thank you.
And we're very proud of what you've accomplished as one of our hometown very own, and the recognition you've gotten. But
we try to say it's Aiken's best hidden secret.
Yes.
You know, that skate park is. And if it were not for him and the passion that he has, there would be no skate park here.
Right.
You know, he purchased the skate park when it went up for sale from Odell Weeks.
Right.
That is there too, and more of that is going up. More funds that come in is going to pour more cement inside and out, so we can continue to grow there. We have a lot of room, and we plan to grow tremendously there as a facility for youth in Aiken.
Well, to be so young and to have such a heart for young people too is truly amazing. And thank y'all very much again. Good luck in Hollywood. Keep in touch and let us know what's going on. And thank you very much. And thank you for sharing your time with us today. And we hope you've enjoyed Aiken Business Matters this week. Thank you.